What is going on, guys? Welcome back to BlackTideTV and another epic variant review from Infinite Warfare. To be honest with you guys, I just wanted a video that we could go out on with a bang, so I was hoping that we would get something good out of the 12 Days of Winter 'Tis the Season supply drop crate, but we didn't. We only got 200 salvage, so that's a damn shame. Not even enough to really buy anything that's worth it, like common variants. Everybody has common variants. Anyways, moving on from that before I get into another tangent, but I wanted to do something really cool. We didn't get a variant, so I couldn't review a variant. I'm really looking forward to the variants and covering those when we do get them, but for now, we are back with epic variant reviews. It's been a while since we've done one of these. The last one was on the Hailstorm Thunder. The one before that was on the EBR-800 Bomber, and if you're smart, if you picked up on the trend, we're doing the DCM-8 Epitaph today. All three of these variants are the three new epic variants. They added an update to the black market a little while ago, or to the prototype lab or the quartermaster, whatever you want to call it. They added an update and they added these three brand new epic weapons. So this is the third of the three that I have reviewed so far. So if you haven't seen those other ones, I will link them in the cards in the top right corner. I'll link the entire epic variant review series in the description down below. So if you're new around these parts, or maybe you just missed an episode, definitely click on the link in the description and check out the full playlist. Now let's talk about the DCM-8 Epitaph. I'm going to start this off with most of the shotguns in this game. Most of the epic variants for those shotguns are terrible, with the exception of the Rack-9 Smoothbore, which is completely godly, one of the greatest variants in this game. We will have a review on that coming soon. With the exception of that shotgun, all of the other epic variants for shotguns in this game, at least so far, are really, really bad. They have very strange traits, and those traits are negated by using certain perks and attachments. The traits, especially on the Epitaph, are at odds with each other, so each weapon has two traits, a common trait and an epic trait, and the best way to make a really great variant is to have two traits that piggyback off each other, that complement each other very well, that go together and basically make one mega trait. Not the case with a lot of these shotguns, not the case with the Epitaph. It's actually got two traits that are at odds. They do completely opposite things, so they don't go together, and it falls apart. So the Epitaph, as well as many of the shotguns in this game, it's not a great variant, and right away, I'm just going to tell you guys that you do not want to spend your salvage on this weapon. That's it. I'm saying it outright. I'll explain why throughout the remainder of this video. So let's take a look at the traits this weapon has. I'll throw the card up on the screen so you guys can follow along with me. So the epic trait that the Epitaph has is called Focus Fire. Hip fire spread reduces with each shot, and this is actually really cool. It would have been great if not for the strange loophole that I'm going to explain in a little bit. The common trait that we have is Stability, which is reduced recoil, which, like I said previously, completely opposite from the Focus Fire trait. Stability, which reduces your recoil, only reduces your recoil when you're aiming down your sights. You don't actually notice recoil when you're hip firing. It's a non-issue. When you're hip firing, you don't have recoil technically. You just have hip fire accuracy. So what's the point of having an epic trait that reduces your hip fire every time you shoot when your common trait is reducing your recoil, so they're expecting you to aim down sights, but you're not supposed to aim down sights for the epic trait? Obviously, you guys are seeing what I'm saying about how these traits do not complement each other. It's just very strange. Common trait, you can basically take that thing and just crumple it up and throw it in the garbage because it's useless on this weapon. Not to mention that this is a shotgun. What the fuck are you doing aiming down sights with You don't aim down sights with a shotgun unless it's the Rack-9 Smoothbore, which again, epic variant review coming on that one. I can't wait to do that video because it's actually a good shotgun variant, whereas this thing, nuh-uh. So you're not aiming down sights with the Epitaph. Take this trait, throw it in the trash. Epic trait, let's talk a little bit more about that. So when I first laid eyes on this epic trait, I got really excited. I was like, hip fire spread is reduced with each shot. This is a fully automatic shotgun. This is going to be perfect. It's going to be like you run up on a group of enemies and they have their backs turned and they're a little bit far away. Like you've got one guy really close, one guy really far away. You can start shooting at the guy really close with your wide hip fire, and then it'll tighten up, and then you can kill the guy at long range because your hip fire will be better. This is going to be great. This is going to be an amazing trait. It's going to be great with gung-ho because then you can run around. You never have to stop running, and you can just hose down people at really long ranges as long as you start firing ahead of time. It's just a really awesome trait. I'm so excited for this, right? Well, there is a massive loophole when it comes to this trait. When you use gung-ho, it doesn't work. Yeah, no, don't take my word for it. I've actually had a couple complaints, or criticisms I should say, of my previous Epic variant reviews that I haven't shown enough in-game testing in these videos. So don't take my word for it. I will show you the testing. I've got a clip of me running down the hallway on Frontier with Gung Ho, and I have a clip of me running down the hallway and then just shooting with this thing. Well, not really running, because then when you start shooting with it when you're not using Gung Ho, you kind of start walking where it actually works. So I'll play the clip where it actually works first, and you guys can see the how much it tightens as you move around, and then I'll show you the Gung Ho clip. So take a look at this. Is that the most ridiculous thing you've ever seen, or what? You would think that the entire purpose of a hipfire tightening shotgun would be to use it with Gung Ho so you can run around, spray and pray, kill people at long range with your hipfire once it tightens up, but you can't do that with Gung Ho. Gung Ho, as far as this weapon is concerned, is completely broken. Well, actually, it's not completely broken. It's not going to completely turn off the trait. If you stop sprinting while using Gung Ho, you can still tighten up your hipfire spread while firing. It's only when you're sprinting. So don't use Gung Ho with this weapon. Instead, what you're going to have to do is slide. That's what I was doing for most of my gameplays. I was trying to run, and then when I got really close to an enemy, I'd slide and start shooting, because as you're sliding, it'll still tighten up. But if you're sprinting, it's not going to work. So Gung Ho is a no-no. Just don't even put it on your class if you are going to use this weapon. Honestly, I would just say don't use this weapon to begin with. But if you do have to pick it up off the ground and you are using Gung Ho and you want to make use of the trait that comes with it, don't sprint and try to fire this weapon, or you're basically using a base DCM-8. If you are sprinting using Gung Ho, you're using the base DCM-8. You don't get any benefit from the common trait. You don't get any benefit from the epic trait. You don't get anything if you're sprinting around with Gung Ho with this weapon. So just stay away from Gung Ho. It's ridiculous. Now, if you did miss it in those clips, I was showing you the hipfire reduction, but for a better example, I'll give you a show of what the hipfire reduction really is like on this weapon. So take a look at this. So yeah, the hipfire reduction is pretty nice, but if you didn't quite notice, it takes a while before it gets very, very accurate. It starts out pretty wide, and with each shot, it reduces a very small amount. The only time that you're going to get a real benefit out of that reduction is on like your third last shot of the magazine. Like, you have 12 shots in the magazine. By the time you get to the 9th shot, now you're firing accurately enough to kill an enemy at maybe close/medium range. You're still not going to have much luck at killing people at longer ranges. This trait, this weapon, doesn't affect your overall damage over range, anything like that. So even though you are firing more accurately, it's still going to take like 5-6 shots to kill at the range that that accuracy is useful for. So without the benefit of Gung Ho, and without being able to run around and just really hose down people without a care in the world, it's not that beneficial of a weapon to use. Honestly, I think the Masochist is better. We haven't done a review on that one yet either, but it is coming, and you'll find that the Masochist, while very strange with its self-inflicting damage, is more beneficial to you than this tightening hipfire nonsense. This thing, it just really doesn't do anything for you in the long run. So let's talk attachments for this weapon if you do plan to use it. If you just say, B-tag, you don't know what you're talking about, and I'm going to use it anyways, these are the attachments that you should probably use. Although, if you're ignoring all of the stuff that I said so far, you're probably going to ignore the attachment recommendations too, but I don't care. Shut up and listen. So fusion mag is really important on this weapon because you're spamming out at least half of your magazine before you get more accurate so you can fire at people that are at medium range or something like that. So you are wasting a lot of ammo. So fusion mag is really, really great on this weapon. Now, I did record this video on Renman's account. I don't personally have the Epitaph, whereas he does, so I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure there are no attachment restrictions on this weapon. So I'm like 99% sure that you can use all of the attachments, including laser sight. Laser sight, god tier on this weapon as long as you can use it, as long as I'm remembering correctly. So laser sight is really great because it already tightens up your hip fire a little bit so that you can actually tighten up to that super accurate hip fire a lot faster. So why wouldn't you use laser sight? The only reason you would ever use this variant is if you are looking for that bonus to your hip fire accuracy, so you might as well throw laser sight on there and make it even more accurate. Last attachment that's really great for this weapon is the particle amplifier. Like I said before, you're still going to take 4, 5, 6 shots to kill at people at long ranges even after you tighten up your hip fire spread. So why wouldn't you want to increase your damage at long range? That's what particle amp does. Definitely really great for engaging those enemies at longer distances once you tighten up your hip fire spread. The last thing that we need to discuss about this weapon before the end of this video is its appearance, because some of the variants make weapons look super badass. This weapon, no, nuh-uh, it's plain. They didn't really do anything with it. They did extend the length of the barrel, and that makes sense because it's kind of a more accurate at longer range. It makes sense that they extended the barrel and they made it look kind of like it's going to be better at long range, like it's going to be better at hip firing. But apart from that, it's really plain. It's gray. It's kind of the same colors as the base DCM-8. They didn't add any fancy camo scheme to this thing. So on top of it being a really bad weapon, it's also a very ugly weapon. So if you were going to use this weapon for its appearance, probably not the best. Actually, the Masochist looks a lot cooler with its like one hand. It looks like the flame gun, like the heat wave gun from DC's Legends of Tomorrow. But that's a really cool looking variant. This one, not so much. So on top of the weapon just being terrible, it doesn't look cool either. So that is my full epic variant review on the DCM-8 Epitaph. Let me know what you guys think about this weapon in the comment section down below. Tell me how I did as well. Drop me a rating. Definitely subscribe if you're new to the channel. I will not be posting videos for the 24th or 25th of December, but we will be back on the 26th. Hopefully we get a variant out of this 12 days of winter between now and then that I can review on the 26th. But until then, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you on the next one. And don't forget to have a very Merry Christmas.